You always tell people, do the things you love and hire everything else out. So what I tell people is make a list of all the things you love about the business that you're starting. Make that list out. Now, make a list of all the other things that you don't love about the business. Hire each one of those out.
Jennifer Bennett is known to be an innovative thinker who empowers entrepreneurs by providing them with the resources that they need for success. Jennifer aims to help business owners reach their goals, but not just that. She also aims to help them to give back and create communities that give everyone access to opportunities, no matter their background. As the CEO of Get Desky, she helps entrepreneurs implement systems in their businesses so that they can work smarter and get more done in even less time. I'm so excited to have Jennifer on. We were connected several months back, and I think we were connected through Josh Perry. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. We were connected through Josh Perry.
Super cool. I'm glad he made the connection. We had a great conversation about what you do.
Yes.
It's very unique. I want to talk about that, but I'm curious, what are these resources that you talk about that entrepreneurs need in order to be successful?
Well, one of the main things is work-life balance. We come in and most people start these businesses and they're like, oh, well, how do I manage my time of being a wife, being a mom, being, all these different things? How do you do that and make it to where it doesn't affect your life and your family, and to where you're going to ultimately burn out? And so one of the first things I did is I created a team. That was number one, is create a team. Invest in your team first, and your team will take care of the growth that happens.
Okay, that's very interesting. I want to talk about that. When I started Be Better Industries in 2019, I obviously had nobody on the team. I've only got one person right now, so we're a very slim team, but without him, I literally wouldn't be able to do anything that I'm doing. He allows me time to do the things that actually move the business forward. But at the beginning, I did not have him, and I was focused on editing videos. I was focused on all the publishing on social media. I had to juggle all of those things together, and it's very clear why people who start businesses are really stressed out, because they're wearing all these different hats that they think that
Yes.
they have to wear. Like, is that
Yes.
what you experienced at the beginning of Get Desky, or in your previous ventures?
So in my previous ventures, yes. And that's what really led me to when me and my mother launched Get Desky. Was I didn't want that. I launched Get Desky to give myself and other stay-at-home moms the opportunity to be able to not only provide for their families, but also have the freedom and the flexibility to be present for their families. And so, in doing that, from the 15 years that I've been in real estate, I learned what I did not want to do, which was I didn't want to wear all of the hats. So, before we actually opened Get Desky's doors, we actually trained our team for 6 months. The first 6 months of Get Desky was just interacting with our team, teaching our team all the different things that me and my mom had been doing for so long. Her operating my dad's consulting firm, and me, all the different hats that you wear as a real estate agent. So we dumped all that into our team. And when we did that, we were able to, in a day-to-day, me and my mom can walk away and not have to work in the business. We can work on it. We can go and network with other business owners and really share the light that we have to be able to offer those benefits to other people.
So when you've been in real estate for a long time, which is awesome.
Yes.
I'm just curious, how old are your kids? Because you mentioned being a mom at home.
My oldest is 17.
Okay.
And my youngest is 7. So I have 2 girls. My oldest is graduating high school, and she is wanting to buy a rental property to rent out to her friends. And and wants to go to nursing school. And my 7-year-old, not sure what she wants to do. I mean, she probably wants to come home and ride her bike this afternoon. So we'll see how her day wraps up. But
That's awesome that she already has those ambitions so early in her life to do those things. But I mean, I'm assuming she only knows about those things existing because of what she's seen you do in your life.
right. Yep.
Yeah. When you had your 17-year-old, you've been in real estate for 15 years, you said. So I'm assuming that once you had her, you had to reinvent your life in a way that allowed you to spend time with her while also run a business.
Yes. Yeah. So I got my real estate license when she was 3. And it's been a roller coaster ever since then. I've learned so much in that time. I was 21 when I had her, and so I had to shift from kind of being that normal, typical 20-year-old, to be able to kind of go and discover myself to I have to be a wife, I got to be a mom, all these different things. And by the time she was 3, I had my real estate license and I hit the ground running. So,
Wow. That's super cool. So when you're working in real estate, right? You get into this world, right? You've got a young daughter at home. You're trying to figure all these things out, right? Real estate is no easy thing to get into.
no.
Like
Mm-mm.
a lot of licensing and learning and knowledge and making mistakes to learn. Like,
Yes.
when did you say, okay, like I can't do this all on my own? I need to hire out? Because you said you were doing this with your mom. Like, when did you realize that you had to start bringing other people in to help you offload these responsibilities?
So I hired my mom to schedule my appointments, so when I was busy, I would be like, "Hey mom, like I need your help. Can you like just schedule appointments for me for showings?" Cuz people were like, I want to go see houses, and I was on the forefront of both being out and then also needing to schedule other appointments. And so my mom was my assistant. She was my very first assistant, like eons ago. I think my daughter was like 7 or 8. She was scheduling my showings for me. And that really, thinking about it now, that was the kind of like the start of when we realized that we could work together and we weren't going to hate each other. Because some families could work together and it's great, and some families can't, because it kind of messes up their relationship. But we found that we could really work together really well.
Nice. Good for you. Yeah, I definitely understand that a lot of families might not be able to do that, right? But like I worked with family in the restaurant industry for a lot of years. So I worked with my mom, I worked with my sister, my brother-in-law, my brother. Like we all worked at this one restaurant in town. And sometimes it was easy working with them, other times not so much. But I'm just going to assume that a lot of people listening might not have their mom who can help step in to help out, or another family member. And a lot of people listening might be in a place where they've got all these different things going on. They know they need to hire someone. They're not quite sure how to do it. Like when we'll use your mom as an example again, because that was the first person you technically hired in a way to help you. Like,
Right.
was it difficult at first? I guess kind of a multi-part question. Were you afraid to bring someone on at the beginning? Were you nervous that she wouldn't she'd be 70% of what you were able to do? Like, was there that fear that you'd be really giving away something that you've been doing this entire time to someone who might not do as great of a job?
There's always that fear. But I've learned from not only, owning Get Desky, but also having other assistants and then also running a podcast production company, is they're never going to be 100% you. You have to allow the people to be who they are and come in accepting that they're going to fail and being able to give them positive feedback to look at it to where they're going to be better the next time. So that fear of letting go, and that they're not going to be exactly like Jennifer, they're not going to do it exactly like Brandon, is just a factor of a reason why you're stunted in your growth. So if you really do want to grow, you've got to start investing in people early while you have the time, because once you don't have the time, you're not going to be able to train someone effectively to be you, to do what you're doing so that you can then, level up yourself. Um, so always invest early on and when you have the time to be able to train someone.
It's really easy to say that. I'm just making a note of what you just said because I love that. And I'm going to ask you a question on that. It's really easy to be like, I don't want to bring someone into the business because I don't believe that they're going to fulfill at the rate that I'm able to. Like, that's an obvious thing, right? It's very rare that
Right.
you bring someone on who's able to do what you're doing in a better way. I guess it could happen, but it's not
Yeah.
what you hire people seeking them to do. But it's an easy excuse to be like, oh, well, they're not going to be able to do it at my rate, so I'm not going to do it at all. Because,
Right.
okay, let's say you bring someone on and you bring someone on as an administrative assistant and they're able to schedule things and communicate with people at a rate that's 65% as effective as you, right? Obviously
Right.
not very great comparing to you, but now you're able to take all of those hours that person has saved you after you train them. It might be a month or two of onboarding and training, maybe 3 months, maybe more, depending on what it is you do. But now
Right.
you've got all those hours back. And then you can bring someone else on and bring someone else on. And depending on how big you want the business to get, obviously, some people want to stay lean in their business. But now you've got 3 people who are operating at 65% effectiveness, but they're not going to stay there. Like what
No,
you said, they're unique.
no, they're
They
not going
bring
to
their
stay
own
there.
value and they're going to keep
Yes.
getting better, right? They're going to keep
Yes.
improving over time in your business until eventually, like my guy, Errol, you literally wouldn't be able to do what you're doing without this person working with you.
Yes, that's correct.
You say to invest early on. So I'm curious, like, how early did you hire your mom in real estate? And what do you advise to other people who are solopreneurs or starting in business? Because they might be saying, dude, I don't even have like my own thing under control yet. Like, how could I possibly bring someone in? When's a good time to bring someone in?
So my mom, I brought her in super early. I had only been, in like really working heavily in the business for about 3 or 4 years. And as soon as I started getting traction, I was like, Mom, come and help me. You could schedule showings for me. And you can, help me do these little things. Within the guidelines that we're allowed to do for real estate, because there's certain things that they can't do. And then with Get Desky, I before when we as soon as we signed the LLC, we brought people in to train them, because we wanted them to have the time and the space to be able to, learn, to grow, to get to know who my mom was, who I was, like the company culture, all these different things. So when you have an entrepreneur or solo entrepreneur or someone who's in the middle of a startup, it's the sooner you can bring people on to get to know like the company story, your passion, your mission, different things like that, the better. So I would advise anyone that's looking to start something, do it at as soon as you can, and and you will figure out a way to be able to pay those people. Because when you not only have yourself to depend on, but you have someone else's family to depend on you too, you find a way to be able to pay them. So it forces you to work on the things you have to work on to keep scaling up.
I think that's a really important prerequisite right there. It's what you said. I know a lot of people who I've worked with specifically. Business coaching isn't like my one lane that I go down, but it naturally happens at times with people who
Yeah.
say, Brandon, I want to do a podcast. I want to do this. And that's awesome. The people who are serious will pay for help to do that. And the number one thing that I see is they don't know the one thing, or at most the 2 things that they need to be doing in order to continue the growth in their business. And if you don't know what that main thing is, you're hiring someone else to maybe do that main thing that you should be doing. And because of that, you're just kind of standing in place. So I love that, by the way, when you say bring them on, you'll find a way to pay them. I'm going to
You
dig into
will.
that because that's a lot of people might be saying, well, Brandon, how much does it even cost to bring someone in? Like, I know people are listening still right now, and they're thinking that to bring in like an administrative assistant, like what your mom did for you, they're thinking, oh, well, it's easy for her because she had her mom who probably didn't charge her much. People are probably thinking they're going to be spending 30, 40 grand a year to bring someone in immediately. And that's just not the case. You with
No.
GetDesky have a very unique solution, which is amazing. I really, it's something I've never heard of before, what you do with GetDesky. And I want you to talk about it in a second here. But how do you know who to bring into your team at the beginning? Like, as an example, if I'm starting let's say I'm starting my coaching business, right? And I want to be a life coach. Like, how
Right.
do you decide what type of role that you need at the very beginning? Is there a way that you like consult people in figuring out what the best person to bring in is?
So, you do business coaching, and so it's kind of one of those things. You always tell people, do the things you love and hire everything else out. So what I tell people is make a list of all the things you love about the business that you're starting. Make that list out. Now, make a list of all the other things that you don't love about the business. Hire each one of those out. At the beginning, you can probably find one person that can do them sort of well. And then as you grow, you can hire each one of those tasks out. I always say when you get to the point to where this person is spending 15 hours a week on that one specific task, it's time to hire out for that one specific task. Because if you have somebody that's doing 5 tasks and each task takes 15 hours a week to do, that's more than 40 hours a week right there. So you can then hire out for those individual tasks. Because the problem is if you don't hire out for the things that you hate about your business, which there are some that I don't like doing bookkeeping for my business. My mom does it. She's done it for eons. She does not mind doing the books, talking to the CPAs, making sure all the tax stuff is up to date. I don't like that. So I hired that out a long time ago. And it keeps me from being burned out because I am doing things that I hate in my business.
Mm.
That's one of the ways of preventing burnout is stop doing things you hate in your business. Hire it out. You're going to be happier. And when you're happier, your family's happier, your team is happier, your clients are going to see it. The people that you meet in business, they're going to be happy or because they see you're happy. And happiness is just as contagious as negativity.
I love that. I think that's a great exercise for everyone right now to literally pause this. If you're watching the replay, if you're watching it live, just do this after, but make a list of what it is you love in your business. Make a list of what you love, but also make a list of the biggest needle moving actions that you can take in your business to continue bringing in revenue so that you can continue to bring other people in. Right. And the thing is, yes, you're going to bring them in, but now you have to show them how to do these things. So it's not even that you're a master at these different tasks that you're outsourcing, but it's important for you to know at least the basic mechanics of what you're going to be doing. Like when I hired Errol to be my video editor, podcast production, like he does practically everything that I'm not good at doing, all the editing, splicing, all that.
Right.
He was already great at those things. I didn't have to train him. I had to give him some direction on how I wanted things to be, which is completely normal, but he knew enough to take that and run. Right. So I guess it's all about finding the right people, but I know people were thinking, okay, well, how much does it realistically cost to bring on my first hire in the business? Like you tell me, is it thousands of dollars a month? Is it like, what can people expect when they use a service like GetDesky, which we're going to talk about the uniqueness of it, but what does it really look like to bring someone on in the business?
So we do virtual assisting. So we do it all remotely. We just launched a new package with the way the economy is going and things like that. And so we pretty much have it as $100 a week. You get 5 hours. So that's an hour a day that someone could be doing anything from checking your emails, helping you with engagement on your socials, creating some content for you, anything like that, all the way up to like a full-time one is around $2,500 a month. But that's for somebody that needs someone 40 hours a week, full time. So it really just varies. So we have packages for everybody.
What's something that you'd recommend to someone just starting out who doesn't necessarily need someone full time? And I think this might lead to the uniqueness of what you do at Get Desky, because if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, I just remember this from our first conversation, you employ stay-at-home moms in the Philippines
Yes.
who
Yes.
this is literally just what they do full time. And you do that because you
Yes.
wanted to support other stay-at-home moms. So I guess
Yes.
kind of a two-parter. How did you decide to launch Get Desky, and why did you decide to focus on employing these stay-at-home moms in the Philippines?
So I can kind of combo that answer. So from my mom and I both, as I was growing up, and as I kind of had to de facto be a stay-at-home mom just because of the economics, you know, we were pretty much thrust into stay-at-home mom because there was no ability to be able to work and also provide for your family, because you pretty much your whole check, one whole parent's check would go towards raising your kids. And the decision my parents made and the decision that me and my husband made was, why am I paying someone else to raise my kid when I'm not sure that they're going to raise it the same way that I would? And so we made the decision to stay at home. And with that, when I was, talking to my mom about launching a business, we had several conversations about what kind of business are we going to launch. We need to do something together. We did something when my 17-year-old was little. We had fun. We loved doing it. And it was, okay, are we going to do this? We're going to do drop shipping. We're going to do all these different things, and we finally landed on, why don't we just do the stuff that we're good at, which is all the remote stuff, bookkeeping, scheduling appointments, emails, content, all that kind of stuff. And we can employ stay at home moms because one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about when moms stay at home is, yes, they want to take care of their family and they want to make sure that the laundry's done, the dishes are done, the meals are ready, there's food in the house, it's relatively clean and picked up. But the desire to also financially take care of the family is there too. And remote work is a great way to do that because not only can we, provide financially for our family, but we can also have that flexibility to be present. And when the kids are sick, like, we can go and we can take care of them and not have to worry about if we're still going to have the same amount of income or not.
And how did you come across the name Get Desky? Where did that come from?
So it was just we were kind of going back and forth, and I'm kind of very sarcastic, and so I was like, well, it's just like, get all your desk work done, and then I was like, get desky, so you can get your desk work done with Get Desky. So and then I looked to see if anybody had ever like registered it with the state of Texas, and I looked to see if anybody had that domain, and nobody had it. So it was like, done. Um, so we have officially launched Get Desky in April. It will be 2 years old. I
Wow.
can't believe it. So yeah, we're helping so many different small businesses and solo entrepreneurs just take some of that desk work and allow them to be able to do the things that they really love to do in their business.
Yeah, 100%. Now it's very cool what you're offering people, because I just know, again, a lot of different types of solopreneurs specifically who could really use this. They're afraid to go out there and hire someone from like a third party site, as an example, and they'd much rather work with someone like you in order to get the right person or the right people, depending on the package or route that they go, to take care of their social media for them, or schedule
Right,
their coaching appointments, or maybe they're a speaker and they want to focus on finding the gigs and someone else is handling all the other little things, right? So they can take their
right,
mind off of the things that, like what you mentioned, they don't like to do. So
right.
compared to where you guys were when you started a few years ago, where do you hope Get Desky is? What's your vision for the future when you're able to say that you started the business 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Like, what's your vision for Get Desky?
So my vision for Get Dusky is one, I want to franchise it. So I want to make it to where other other moms can own this franchise and be able to, launch their own remote service for, different industries, different passions that they may have. Obviously, mine is focused on startups and solo entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that are, doing various things. But I also really see it impacting stay-at-home moms in general too, because then they can have both the flexibility of being home with their families, but also providing for them as well too.
I love that vision. I remember you mentioned franchising to me before, and I was just immediately thinking, like, wow, that's a lofty goal to get
Yeah.
this in the hands of so many other people. And really, if you think about what that means for us as business owners, that means there's going to be a whole community of business owners, hopefully more than not, who are simply focused on what their superpower is. And if we're
Yes.
all focused on what our superpower is, imagine the difference that we can make in the world if we're only doing the things that we love to do and focus on.
Yes. That's when true growth really happens, is when the the people that own the companies and, the leadership are focused on their superpowers and things that really excite them, and, just come in to where they could just go into the office and they're so excited just to see their team. Like every morning I get so excited to just open up Slack and just send my team memes like good morning, like let's I jokingly say, let's wow them with our sparkle, but it's true because when you are out there and you're contagious, because you just have so much positivity and you're excited to be where you are and you're excited to do the work that you have, it's contagious, and it's contagious in a good way, and the world needs more of that contagiousness in a good way.
That's the truth. The world needs more of that positivity, people actually living in their strengths, living in their truth. They need all of those things right now. And the
Yes.
thing is, I know everyone listening is thinking, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. And there's still an uncertainty there of, okay, well, what does it actually look like when someone reaches out to you and they say, Jennifer, this sounds amazing. I would love to take you up on this. I'd love to start building my own team. What does the process look like from the first touch of communication with you to them actually having someone on their team taking care of all these other things that they're not super in? Like, what does the process look like?
So they can actually just sign up on our website, and from there, like my team takes over. So from the moment that you touch our website or you message me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, we are pretty much hands on. If you might message me and my team's going to take that and they're going to run with it. They're going to answer your questions. They're going to start interacting with you. They're going to invite you into our Slack group. They're going to be emailing you. They're going to get you set up. And we usually have response times of within one business day. You're going to be have multiple interactions with us, because we really do want to wow you with our sparkle. And one of the ways that we do that is trying to be as responsive as possible.
Are you helping people decide also what actionables to outsource and give to
Yes.
someone else? Like, are you like in, or does someone need to come to you knowing exactly what they want to give away?
No, because most of the time they don't know because they're just so overloaded, they don't know. But what you can do is you could sit down and you can have a conversation with somebody and you could tell what they like to do. They can tell you, hey, I love just being able to just go to, the chamber events and just talk to people, or I love just like sitting on, lives and being able to they can tell you, um, but they just don't want to admit it to themselves because they feel like I own this business. I have to do everything in this business. And the truth is, you don't. And the faster that you hire things out that you don't like to do, the less likely you are to be burned out.
Well said. So true. What are your superpowers? What are the things that you love doing in the business that you won't give to someone else?
I love just like talking to people. I love like just going out, meeting people, you know, hearing their stories, sharing, in the victories that they have, whether it's a small one or a big one. One of the things that I love seeing, and some of my clients can attest to this, is we have Slack Connect. So we pay for, an upgraded version of Slack. And I'm in Slack enough to where I can see when someone on my team or someone has been struggling with something and they finally catch it and they're catching a stride and they're just rocking and rolling. And I will pop in there and be like, you did it. Like, just like, wow, like you have been like struggle bussing this out to just like keep getting better. Cause I always just tell my team, this is a place to fail, but fail and fail less the next day.
Mm,
That's what I always tell my team is I don't want you to be perfect and I don't want you to be me. I want you to fail until you catch it, and then it's just like you could do it like the back of your hand. And I go in there and I tell them all the time, like I find something that I know that they've been struggling with, and I will be like, you finally did it, like you got it. And that right there just gives them like the next boost to like go and take on another challenge.
so cool. You're the overseer, or better yet, the leader of the group, right? And that's the
Yeah.
motivation, that's the communication, that's the seeing them. Like, I think that's a key thing that you said. You're there seeing them when they do make that mistake and helping them make that mistake less moving forward, right? And failing
Yes.
less moving forward. But if you don't have that person who's seeing that and helping to attune it and helping to make it
Yes.
even better, then you're just going to keep getting the same results. So that's a very important role that you're playing.
Yes. I love it. I love being able to like see them just like growing as people. It really just it makes it worth it.
I love it. I'm sure it does. Where is the best place for people to contact you? You mentioned LinkedIn and you also mentioned your website. For those listening, what is the website that they're going to go to get started?
So the Get Desky website is www.getdesky.com, and that's GETDESKY.com.
Awesome. You guys heard it from Jennifer. Go to getdesky.com and start bringing people in. Stop being afraid to bring people onto the team. Bring them in. Even if you feel that you're not quite ready, that is how you know you're ready. You're never going to be like, today is the day that I am ready, right? I was
You,
nervous to bring on my first guy, like super
yes.
nervous.
Yeah, and that fear, it should be used to motivate. That's one of the things that Josh talks a lot about is that fear of unknown. Like that's just like you just like being out there. You've got to just like use that fear in a positive way. So yeah,
And that's going
just
to motivate you when you
yes,
do have that
yes,
person to
yes,
figure it
because
out.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna push you to figure it out. Like you're gonna have no choice but to just be like, oh crap, like now I have to figure it out. I got this LLC. I got these people depending on me, not just my family, but now I got someone else's family. And then you bring on more people and you're like, well, now I got this person's family and I got this person's family. And, you know, you figure it out real quick.
That's right.
Um, and it helps your business grow, and it also helps you to just keep going out there and keep doing the things that you love to do, because now your team depends on you to bring in more people.
100%. It's so powerful. Jennifer, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks so much. I'm glad we finally made this happen. And I
I
know it's going to
know.
help a lot of people. So I'm just super
it,
grateful for you to be here, and I'm grateful to know you.
yeah, thank you for having me today. I'm glad we kind of made it. It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But we made it happen. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
You're welcome.
If you're at the beginning of your business, or you're in the middle, or you're at that point now where you haven't brought someone on and you're saying, this is finally impacting me, it's time to bring someone into the business, it's time to give them the things I don't like to do, it's time to dive into my superpower, then you need to start a conversation with Jennifer, either on her LinkedIn page, shoot her a message, the links are in the description, or go directly to the website, getdesky.com. For those listening, it's GETDESKY.com. And if you're not even sure what your superpower is or what you would give away first in your business to have someone else take over, then they're going to help you through that process. They've got custom packages to help you do so. It made a giant difference in my business bringing someone on, and I know it will do the same for you. I hope you took away value from this conversation with Jennifer. It was high energy. It was practical. There's so many things you can do right now. So if you did take something away, even a smile or a laugh, then please share this show with just one other person who could use it as well. You're the reason our show has grown the way it has over the past 2 years, and I'm super grateful for you for tuning in and listening. Until we talk again next time, continue to be better.